Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Coaster News. And as always, we've got some amazing news from different theme parks, rides and attractions and events all over the world. And this week is actually quite a special one because earlier this week, not today, but like a few days ago, was actually National Roller Coaster Day. And obviously that was a fantastic day. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did actually manage to get to any theme parks on National Roller Coaster Day, which park did you go to? How many rides to go on? And did you enjoy it, most of all? Let me know in the comments below what if you went to any parks on National Roller Coaster Day and if you enjoyed it, because it was an incredible day. But let's get straight into the news. Our top story for tonight: Chessington World of Adventures have officially announced World of Jumanji, which is opening in 2023. And obviously this is the news we've all been waiting for like the past year at this rate. Because if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically World of Jumanji is a brand new themed land opening at Chessington World of Adventures in spring 2023. It is obviously, as you can tell by the name, it is themed to the Jumanji film franchise. So it's an intellectual property themed area. It's going to consist of 3 attractions, 2 like unknown flat rides that we don't currently know about. But the main attraction in that area is going to be a brand new roller coaster, the first roller coaster at Chessington World of Adventures in 19 years. But when it opens, it's going to be a B&M. I'm going to say. This is quite a mouthful, so please listen. It's a B&M launched shuttle wing coaster with an inversion. That is insane. It's literally B&M's first ever launch coaster. Well, it's not their first launch coaster, it's their first shuttle coaster. And obviously it's the first B&M roller coaster in 11 years by the time it's opened, because the last one was the Swarm at Thorpe Park, which was also a wing coaster. Except that one's more of a traditional wing coaster with a full layout on a lift hill. This one's going to consist of a few multi-path launchers, and it's going to be a shuttle coaster, which is very unusual for B&M. It's literally the first one they've ever done, I believe. So obviously Merlin Entertainment, the company that owns Chessington, they obviously love to build world's firsts in not just Chessington, but in all of their parks. And it's absolutely incredible what they're doing. Obviously, it was announced back in May 2021, so over a year ago at this point. And obviously that's when they submitted the public consultation to build a brand new themed land consisting of a new roller coaster and 2 children's flat rides. And obviously this was absolutely amazing news for Chesterton, because they haven't gotten a roller coaster since 2004 with Dragon's Fury, which is their Maura spinning coaster. It's an absolutely great ride. Obviously that was their last coaster, which was 18 years ago this year. So it was a very long time ago, and it's glad to see that they're finally investing in new coasters, because Chessington seems to be up on the rise recently in terms of new attractions and their lineup. Because before 2020, and obviously before 2021, they were kind of, I'd say they're kind of struggling a little bit compared to like the other Merlin parks. I like each year in like before 2020, they just got like reskinned attractions like the Gruffalo River Adventure, Room on the Broom. They rethemed Dragon Falls to what is now known as Tiger Rock. So it was all just like mainly just sort of rethemes and smaller additions. Whereas this year, this decade, they've gotten a rainforest area, which fair enough is a retheme, but it's got actually an actual new ride, the log flume from one of the sea life centres, which I guess it's kind of a small addition, but it's a new themed land called Rainforest. Obviously, the next season they would get Blue Barnacle, which is a refurbished version of the Black Buccaneer, and Croc Drop, which is one of their best attractions they've ever got, is a giant, well not a giant, but a drop tower, which is heavily themed, and it literally comes out of a crocodile's head, which is insane. And obviously this year they've actually gotten Shipwreck Coast, which is obviously a retheme of the Pirates Cove area, which now has 4 rides in it. They refurbished Sea Storm, they added additional theming around Blue Barnacle, and they added Barrel Bailout, which is a brand new, I'm not sure it's called a Zamperla Water Mania attraction, I think it's called, but it's basically like you sit in barrels on a spinning platform and you shoot water guns at everyone on the ride, and it's really cool. It's great to go on a hot day, like when that opened we were in the middle of a heat wave, so it was perfect. And also Troller Trouble, which is like a little rocking tug boat ride thing that's actually timber tugboat that was relocated from Thorpe Park, that's been relocated to Chessington. It's got all new theming around it and everything. It looks absolutely incredible. And next year's going to be no different, because they're adding, what they're saying is like I think they're the largest theme land. All the rides in that area are completely brand new. The 2 flat rides, which we don't really know anything about, and the new massive coaster. I mean, it's going to be a quite compact ride, but it's going to be really innovative for them, and it's going to be absolutely incredible. In other news today, Thorpe Park have started to announce their Fright Nights lineup for 2022. And when I say started to announce that lineup, that's kind of different than they have done in previous seasons, because if you don't know what I mean, basically this year for Thorpe Park, they're doing the announcements for their Fright Nights lineup a bit different than they have in previous years. Because in previous Fright Nights events, they've literally announced the entire lineup in one massive announcement video on social media, whereas this year they're doing it a bit different. Because this year is the 21st ever Fright Night, and for some reason they're celebrating it as an anniversary. I'm not sure what the reason is why, but in the new all the marketing and the teasing, it's all been about making a key to unlock your darkest nightmares and whatnot. Because obviously, the reason behind that is apparently when you turn 21, you get a key. So I think that's the reason for it. And obviously, they started releasing teasers last week, I believe, and it was about this character called the Locksmith making a key that unlocks a door which has a mysterious eye on it. And this eye symbol has been spotted at Carnival recently in the fortune teller's tent, I believe, when they hand cards, a few cards to you, and one of them has an eye on it. Now I'm pretty sure that's just a teaser for Fright Nights, but still, what does it mean? Well, before these teasers were released, Thorpe Park announced that they will be having scare mazes this year, scare zones, obviously some shows, and a brand new scare experience, which I don't think they've ever done before. It's not going to be a maze or a scare zone, but they're saying it's going to be an immersive indoor experience that's going to be an upcharge attraction. So how they're going to do this without it being a maze, I have no idea. Unless it's like an escape room or something. I mean, they had escape rooms before with containment and whatnot. Or maybe it can be something completely different. I mean, obviously keys unlock things, and escape rooms you have to try and escape. So maybe, I don't know. But basically they've been doing it different this year. Because obviously rather than announcing the entire lineup all in one video, they announced one scare attraction every sort of couple of days. So far, they've announced the return of trailers from last season's Fright Nights, which we kind of already saw coming anyway because it was brought back for Carnival as Breakout Bozos. And also the return of the Crows of Morecambe Meadow, which is absolutely great news to hear, because the Crows of Morecambe Meadow was an absolutely excellent scare zone last season at Fright Nights. It was so good. It was amazing. It was all honestly heavily themed. It was a lot like a full-on. It was a bit like a scare maze almost, with all the theming around it. It was absolutely incredible. It's like one of those scare attractions you find at Universal's Halloween Horror Nights and whatnot. It was awesome. So I'm glad that's returning. And if they keep following the pattern they have so far, they announce one new attraction every sort of couple of every 2 days. So they're going to announce the next one, I think, later today at 8 o'clock. Obviously, but so far they've announced the return of trailers and Morecambe Meadow. Obviously, they were all brand new for Fright Nights last year, and I never got to go in trailers, but I've heard it's absolutely incredible, and it's the best scare maze from Fright Nights. And I think I can see what people mean, because I've looked at the POVs and it looks absolutely incredible for Fright Nights. Obviously, I'm actually going to be going in trailers next week, but obviously because it's not Fright Nights, it's Carnival, it's going to be Breakout Bozos. Now, I've heard Breakout Bozos is good as well. Obviously, it's not really meant to be a scare maze as such, just more of a fun experience, because obviously Carnival is not really it's not Fright Nights where it's supposed to be really intense and scary one. It's a family event, so I can see why it's kind of more targeted at families, this version of trailers. But it does sound like it's still going to be good. I've heard some people say it's absolutely incredible what they've done. But obviously, it's great to see that trailers is returning for Fright Nights this year. But in the teaser that they released for trailers, it said it was your last chance to catch this summer's newest release, Bozo's Play Zone 2, which is obviously what they've advertised for Breakout of Bozo. So could this be the only season we see trailers operate at Carnival? I mean, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. The Thorpe Park have said they haven't had a plan for what they have for 2023 events, so could this be the one and only season we see trailers return for Carnival? Or could it actually return for future Carnival events? We'll just have to wait and see. Also in the news today, and this is kind of sad news a little bit, kind of worrying a little bit, but basically Valhalla might not reopen until 2023. Now, obviously, this has kind of been a bit of an issue recently because for the past few months, Blackpool Pleasure Beach have been very silent about it. Obviously, last year they announced that Valhalla had been delayed until summer 2022. It is basically, obviously, summer 2022 has been going on for quite a couple of months now. It's almost nearing the end of summer, actually. Summer ends next month, I believe. And Valhalla still hasn't reopened. Obviously, apart from a tweet that Amanda Thompson had put on about how they're still planning to open it this year and how COVID and Brexit have made things a lot more difficult, the park themselves have actually been pretty silent about it. It's still advertising it's opening this year. But there's only a few months left of this season. The only summer months left are this August, which is not going to open this month. It's kind of a bit too late at this point. It's already the 19th. And September, which is when summer ends. After that, it's October and I think Blackpool Pleasure Beach are opening in November, although I could be wrong. But obviously, at that time of year, no one's really going to want to go on a water ride and get absolutely soaked when it's going to be like freezing cold. It would have actually been perfect if it opened in July, because that was when we had that massive heat wave where it was like 40 degrees Celsius. It would have been perfect to go on that. Because I've heard that Valhalla gets you absolutely soaking if you go on it. And I can see why, because it looks like an absolutely incredible ride. And this refurbishment that they've been doing for the past 2 years now, yeah, Valhalla has been closed that long for 2 years. It better be good, because we've been waiting for a very long. We've all been waiting patiently for this ride to reopen, and obviously it sounds like a pretty big refurbishment what they're doing, because it might even be delayed until next year for a third year in a row. Obviously, even if it does get delayed until next year, when it does reopen, it is probably going to be absolutely incredible. Now, that ride, I've heard, is one of the best water rides in the whole world, and also one of the best dark rides, because it's I guess it's part water ride and part dark ride. So there's a little, it's all indoors. Valhalla, in case you didn't know, it's like all an enclosed water ride. There's like one bit, obviously the station is outdoors, and there's like one other bit that goes outside slightly, but I think that's the bit where it goes backwards, because Valhalla is one of those few water rides that have a bit where it goes backwards. I think it has a switch track. I don't know how it works. It's weird, but it sounds absolutely awesome, and I cannot wait for it to reopen. It's going to be a lot more immersive, because I've heard that updating the special effects, and it's going to be absolutely incredible. I mean, at this rate, could we see the layout change? Because it's been that long, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. And finally, in the news today, the dive loop on ArieForce One at Fun Spot Atlanta has been fully constructed. Now, obviously, this ride is been really hyped up a lot recently, like over the past sort of few months. Because it is if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically, ArieForce One is a brand new RMC iBox coaster located at Fun Spot Atlanta in Atlanta, Georgia, USA. And it's a brand new RMC ground up iBox coaster, and obviously it's kind of a bit surprising to hear that they've done this, because I think before this ride, Fun Spot Atlanta was a relatively small park. They didn't really have any major coasters. It's not like its sister park, Fun Spot Orlando, where they get all the amazing rides. No, I think this one is just like, it's got a few like odd smaller rides. Obviously now, as of either later this year or next year, because the construction is taking that long, that's gonna change everything. It's not the tallest RMC hybrid. It's like 155 feet tall. There are plenty of others out there that are like 200 feet tall, like Steel Vengeance, Iron Gwazi, Zadra, and that's it. But no, it looks an absolutely incredible ride. But obviously, I'm not sure if anyone else has thought about this, but I think this ride could also be delayed until 2023 as well, because it is literally the middle of August, and the track hasn't been completed yet. I'm not sure how far along it's gotten, but I think that because they've literally only just built the dive loop fully, and they've still got the rest of the layout, it might be delayed until next year. I'm not sure if Fun Spot Atlanta is like one of those parks that are open year round or what. I think they do have a closed season. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm thinking this ride could be delayed until 2023. Everyone, please spread the rumor, because at the rate the construction is going, it could be delayed until next year. I mean, they only just started vertical construction later this year. Yeah, that is how long it's been, and they've only just built the dive loop. But that's a massive milestone because that's one of the main parts of the ride that's been fully constructed now, and it's obviously looks absolutely incredible. This RMC iBox hybrid coaster. Obviously, it is like it looks. That dive loop originally was rumored to be an Immelman, and if that was true, then it would be the first RMC with an Immelman. Unfortunately, that turned out not to be the case. Instead, it's been another dive loop. So there is one other RMC iBox coaster that has a dive loop, Goliath at Six Flags Great America. I'm pretty sure that has a dive loop. Yeah, it does. In the towards the end of the layout. Obviously, this ride looks going to be absolutely incredible. Lots of airtime and plenty of inversions, and overall, it looks like a great layout and an amazing new addition to Fun Sport Atlanta. So yeah, that is it for this week's episode of Coaster News. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, then please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment or like to see you in the next video. Bye!